believe I'm recording. That's a miracle. And I'm here with Amy Nicholson, the director of Happy Campers. I thought this was a documentary, and I'm watching it, and the how beautiful the shots are and how well composed they are. I was like, is this a documentary? Or
Oh, that's so flattering.
I couldn't quite tell. The shots you have in here are amazing. And like, how much setup is that? Or was it just you locked the camera down and just got damn lucky? Or like, how was that?
Yeah, people ask me that. They say, "Oh, did you set up the camera and just wander away for, an hour or so?" And you kind of can't really do that with the little camera that I had. I had a Blackmagic 4K pocket cam, but I did not because they can get very heavy once you add everything to it. I did not opt for a very long battery. So I had pockets full of these little batteries that I would swap out like every 20 minutes. So I didn't wander away too much. I did that a couple of times, but really just everyone knew me, Eric, and I had been there for like a year and a half without filming anything. I took a lot of pictures, and then during the winter, I would print the pictures out and send them to people that I met and say, "Hey, can't wait to see you next summer." But everybody kind of knew me, so it wasn't a big camera setup. Well, like I said, it was this little Blackmagic with a really good microphone. I got great advice on that because I knew sound was such a huge part of the film. And I put everything in a garden cart and I wheeled around with my garden cart. And when I saw something great, I stopped. So that was it.
Well, what got you started on this? Because just hanging out with look, they're closing down the trailer park, and it's incredibly sad. But at the same time, like hanging out with these people, that must have been a blast. Just
It was
they just seem like great people to hang out with.
it was the best time of my life, honestly. It was really, I remember coming back because I had filmed it in 2019 before the pandemic. And, once we all got into lockdown and, you're sort of in your house by yourself going like, oh, okay, boy, do I miss those people. It was, you really had time to contrast and compare and think about how much fun it is to be so social with that many people at once and then not have that, which I know everybody was kind of thinking about, but I came right from, having 150 families as neighbors that were, 10 feet from each other. And so it was hard. It's hard to give it up, but yes, it was really a community.
And also, like, what was your thoughts on the story on this? Because the fact that the trailer park's going to close, that threat's looming throughout, but it's not really about that. It's about everyone just hanging out and just let's watch these people just kind of have their last hurrah. But
Yeah.
that's not typically a story documentarians usually go for. They usually go for the big sexy us versus them sort of thing.
Yes, and if I had $1 for every person who told me to make it us versus them, I would have paid for the movie. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to make that choice because you're right. You don't see it very often, but that was kind of my point all along. It really isn't about what will replace it or even about, yeah, there's evil developers everywhere. A previous film that I made about the rezoning of Coney Island was really about the machine behind it and how all of that works. And I didn't want to make the same film again. I really wanted people to feel the value of things that don't have a price tag. They're not, you can't buy friendship. You can't buy generations of funny stories. You can't, you can't buy friendliness, from a stranger that, may or may not be right next door or might be down the way a little bit, but knows that you're part of the community. So they're open to you and they want to know who you are and how you're doing and how's your mom. And, those things have such a value. And I wanted people to see it.
Yeah. And also, so in this, the people there must have been incredibly comfortable with you because I think what they like reference you like maybe once or twice. Like usually in
Yeah,
a
a couple
documentary,
times.
they're like, just like staring at it. But they were so comfortable, like in their own skin, and it's almost like you weren't even there, and it just kind of draws you into that. Like what was kind of their relationship with you in that regard, as a filmmaker, not just someone hanging out?
Well, I had to explain a little bit. It's always weird when you film people because first of all, people who aren't film people, they automatically assume you're going to put their image on social media. And as much crap as people post on social media, when someone else does it, it's a thing. So, you have to be sensitive to that. You have to be sensitive to people are very savvy about imagery these days and about where things go. And especially with children, I wouldn't even come near turning on the camera with some of the kids unless the mom was there and unless I had a signed release form. They shut me down a bit. They would say, "Oh, Amy, put the damn camera away and just come have a beer with us." Because, that was what that place was for. It was to get away. It was to relax. It was to, just hang out and do nothing with other people that you like. So I was trying to balance pushing it a little bit. And I would say, but when it's gone, no one's going to ever see this again. And we're going to want to see this again. And then I think it kind of started to sink in. And toward the end of the summer, I had no problem getting people to, they would just step in front of the camera and start talking. Like in the middle of the film where that woman with the blonde hair, Tammy, she was mowing the lawn. And I said, "Oh, Tammy, I think it's so nice that you're mowing your neighbor's lawn. I'm going to come over and film it next time." Because she was mowing it because the people had left. And she wanted it to look nice. And she wasn't sure if they were returning or not. She thought, well, it's the right thing to do. I'll just mow their lawn. And then she shut off the mower and she just started to say those beautiful things to me about how, she hopes she hopes their house isn't going to go into a dumpster because she admired what they had done with it. And it just, that started to really happen toward the end because I think emotions, overwhelmed people. And me too, I mean, we were always talking about it, by the end of the summer because it was just this looming thing.
You mentioned the release forms. I was talking with Don Mickelson, who directed Minnesota Mean, and she was talking about kind of the ethics of like, yeah, I shot some stuff, but legally I could do it because they signed the forms, but ethically, like they didn't want it, and I didn't want them to be mad about that. Like, what's kind of your take on that? Because I imagine you have similar thoughts on that.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, our Facebook page has become there was a huge hub for this community on Facebook already. Our film page has kind of taken over that group. All along, even in editing, if I didn't know who someone was, I would post a picture and say, "Hey, does anybody know this person? We might use this scene, we might not." And then I went back to the island and I got people to come back, which is kind of a thing because everybody was from different states, and they all came back for the weekend and we had a big reunion, not last fall, but the fall before. What I did because, when we were at the end of the summer, some people had left, some people had left early because I needed to make sure everybody was okay with the idea of it becoming a film. The footage becoming a film, because I wasn't really sure until I got back, and kind of looked at it. I held a rough cut screening and we had a big reunion on the island and everyone came and everyone had an opportunity to tell me like if there was anything they felt uncomfortable with. And I did have one woman who said, "I really don't want to be on camera, but you can use my voice." And, people have their personal reasons for not wanting to appear, and I respect it, and we cut around her. So
yeah, well,
everybody else was fine, which is a lot of people. So
yeah, if you shot everything and then everyone it all at once was like, well, I guess I don't have a movie. That sucks.
no, but I was very honest about what I was doing, and they make the film. I don't really make the film. The people make the film. So
Yeah, and I think that kind of you out of the movie. Just kind of looking through the camera. And again, holy crap, this thing looks beautiful. In fact, I should mention Happy Campers opens theatrically in New York, August 7th at IFC Film Center, LA on August 21st at Laemmle Theaters. and then VOD later on September 10th. But if you can watch this in the theater, holy crap, this thing looks amazing. And I think that was the crew just you?
Just me.
Well, hell.
That was it. But I had a wonderful colorist who fixed all my exposures, and I have fabulous editors who cut around all the times that I messed up. And sound design was a ginormous part of this movie. It was a big part of it. Matt Davies did the sound design, and we spent probably that was the bulk of our finish. It was about 6 months in sound design.
Yeah, but yeah, I cannot stress this enough. If you live in LA or New York and can watch this in a theater, do it. That's the preferred method because this thing looks absolutely gorgeous, especially the night shots. Oh my God.
Well, that is the Blackmagic camera. That little camera, I mean, you know, you're shooting and sometimes you don't even know what you're getting. And I got back and I was like, wow.
But you know what? Blackmagic needs to throw you a check because if this movie is not a great advertisement for Blackmagic, I don't know what is. But Amy, yeah, Happy Campers, August 7th in New York, August 21st in Laemmle, and September 10th on VOD. Great documentary, great people that you showed to the world, and congratulations on a well-made doc.
Thank you so much.
It doesn't even look like a doc. It doesn't even look like...
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.